Alright, welcome to another Total War Napoleon 3 replay. Have a really fun 4v4 for you today. And we'll see about that. I guess y'all can see what I think about it. First off, we'll start with right to left, and we'll go to my army. It is raining. So, first faction that we're going to have is Bavaria, which is a pretty awesome little faction. They have cool little hats and they're nice bluish uniforms, but they're mainly a bunch of just line infantry. None of these guys. Oh, that's a combat general right there. It's probably a good little unit. And then we've got some 3-pounders and some 6-pounders. For the cavalry for Bavaria, we are going to have only 4 units, it looks like. Yep, only 4 units. Pretty small, but they do have a Cuirassier unit. They look really good. Bavaria has pretty good cav. Oh, look at those guys. These are the Jaeger zu Ferde. I don't really, or Ferde. Look at their little blue feathers on their hats. Pretty dope. And then we've got some Hussars. Love the way Hussars look. Then we've got some Ulan, which are basically just Lancers. Next up, we have a 1805 to 1808 French army. Starting with a cav, we got some Hussars, pretty awesome looking unit. Then we've got some Chaucheurs à Cheval, the Miracle of Valmy. Like I said, I saw some action in the particular battle and were pretty famous. We got some St. George, Cavaliers of St. George, Chaucheurs à Cheval. They look pretty legit. And then we've got the 10th Cuirassiers. They look pretty awesome. Cuirassiers are a really awesome unit. And we got more cav over here. We've got some Chaucheurs à Cheval, some more Chaucheurs à Cheval, and then we have some dragoons, some police dragoons. It looks like. Look at their leopard on their helmets. And for the infantry, we've got some line, the Braves. These are the cool. I like the way this 1805 to 1808 faction for the French are, where they got their little tricoin, bicoin hats, or however you call them. More revolutionary. He's got a bunch of lines. Some of them can do. These are light infantry and a bunch of line. Most of these guys, he does have some grenadiers. I see. And then all 3 of these units are grenadiers. No, just that one and then that one. These are 2 are grenadiers. And then we have some more line infantry. So a good mix. Most of his guys can have square and some of them can't. And he does have a 6-pounder, and we've got some voltigeurs. Pretty dope. And over here we're going to see Denmark. Denmark is pretty cool. They have a really cool infantry and everything else. I'm not going to say that word. I guess these are just some Hussars basically. And then you have the Live Garden, which are some elite cav. They almost look like dragoons, but I believe this is kind of like their heavy guard cavalry. They've got a 3-pounder. Hessen Castle is going to be the general. Got some Hussars. They look pretty dope with their little feather. And then we've got some more, looks like heavy cav. I'm not going to try and say that name. Danish infantry is relatively pretty good. These guys are really awesome. These are kind of like some guard infantry. But check out their blue feather flower that they have in their hat. They're pretty awesome. Very good unit. Got some more infantry. More infantry. I've got some. These look like some Norwegian. It says Norske Grenadiers. So that maybe some Norse Grenadiers or some Norwegian Grenadiers. Some more of some Grenadiers. These are the Olden Borgska. And then we've got some other. So pretty good mix of good infantry and some line infantry, and then we've got some Norske Jaeger, Vasmer. So I guess these guys are some Norwegian infantry too. Got 2 units of those. And then finally we're going to check out my infantry and my army and my cav and my artillery. So on the right I'm going to have some provisional hussars. I am running the French 1807, 1814 Spain. So they have these cool little get-ups that they wear around their legs. So provisionals, we have Lasalle, General de Lasalle, Antoine de Lasalle. Uh, awesome guy. That's not really what he looks like, but or he may have looked like that back in France. But great cavalry general. Him and Murat were the two best. I prefer him over the Lasalle, Murat though. I do have the Lanciers de Vistula, the Los Diablos Polacos. These are the Polish Lancers of the Vistula. Earned great fame during the campaign. Really good cavalry Lancer unit. And we've got some Dragoons, just kind of supporting, and then some Dragoons and some more Dragoons. As I'm getting shot with by rockets, so great. First up, we've got some Grenadiers. We got Polish Grenadiers actually, gonna move up, trying to take the house. We got the 2nd Legion of Vistula, Clausewitz, really good unit. We've got some infantry of Kolberg-Saalfeld. We've got some light infantry coming through. We've got Swiss. They're pretty awesome. Some more Swiss. Or actually, these are actually Hanover troops from Hanover. Legion de Hanover. Some more line. I have a general. And then back here, we've got another unit of Poles. And then back here, bringing the rear, we've got some Swiss and some more French. And I do have a 4-pounder. So our factions we're fighting, we've got a United Kingdom 1801 Egypt, we have a 1806 Prussia, and then we've got Russia, and then 1812 Russia, and then we have the British from 1812 USA. So knowing that USA gets a bunch of, he's also running all his units up. They get some guerrilla units, so I kind of fear that they would actually have already guerrilla units in this house. And I knew that, so I kind of already brought some grenadiers, hoping that I wouldn't have to use them. But luckily, they don't have anything, because all my stuff's pretty much invisible still, so I know they don't have anything. Russia's forming up their cav. United 1812, Great Britain did start with 2 rockets, which are inaccurate, but they're just kind of annoying. That's all they kind of are. The face. So I don't think they've caused really any casualties. I pulled my cavalry over here to kind of see what we had going up. Denmark is pushing up this way. I'm pushing up to take a center position, and it looks like Prussia and Russia are both coming down upon me. My Dragoons here pushing up. Do spot some Dragoons that their Prussian player is going to charge, but they're not really going to do anything. I'm just going to go ahead and just walk my guys back. He does have a lot of units rushing down this road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 10, 11 units just straight up going down this road. Russia already has his units setting up. Russia does have the huge artillery piece with 5 6-pounders. It's a big unit of artillery. And he's pushing up. He's got his cav moving up. France has some, his Socios à Cheval are also moving up. Looks like Russia does have the Russian cuirassiers with their black cuirassier is, or however you say it, cuirassier is awesome. So I've taken the house of my grenadiers. They are taking some pot shots. Got one guy down, and nobody's dead there. But my artillery is setting up, and I'm going to start shooting down this road. Set up with some line. Got my poles on the left and some French on the right. And I'm going to kind of push over some of these guys to kind of watch this way and watch this way with Prussia. Slowly, 1805 is coming up, and Bavaria is coming up on the left too. So it's looking okay. I have a lot of confidence in my units going against a lot of the Prussian units. Only worry is Cav just coming straight down this way. So my artillery is starting to blast, but they're not proving to be very accurate. As I say that, they do take one guy out. And some of these guys going to get back up? No, none of them are going to get back up. Always love it in this game when you cannonball goes straight through them and like 15 guys get knocked down and 12 of them get back up. It's like, ah, they're okay. Like that. Boom! Look at that. And then, let's see. How many are going to get back up? All of them just about, except for 2. It's quite insane. Quite insane. I guess everybody knocks everybody over. They're like, oh, crap. My Polish Grenadiers are still shooting away. So we're still kind of, you know, it's kind of getting slow. Start up. Bavarian Cav are over here on the left. Russia has a lot of cav, and so does the 1812. So this is the British army that was in America during 1812. So that's what they are. Pushing up some of my guys. I really don't want to get in a fight with them there, but this is kind of annoying. This unit has 7 guys coming straight down, and then they get blasted, and it's just like, oh, and they knock out my unit and get routed. Like, they should have broke. That was really annoying. How that did not. That was annoying. I don't know. Words can't describe the frustration that this unit and this unit and this unit actually shot at this unit, and they still got the charge off. This kind of frustrating. But it didn't really do anything. I lost 6 guys from this artillery piece. It just, what it does is this artillery piece can no longer move. It's stationary here, so it's, in a way, it's about useless. 1805 does set up an artillery piece here. What is this? Like somebody took a piece, but he sets up pretty good right here and actually does some really good damage to these cavalry units. That unit loses 8 guys, and that was actually pretty good. I mean, those are cuirassiers right there. So I mean, every man counts for that. Kind of flanking up. So at this point, with 1805 coming up, we didn't really maybe communicate the best. Since he was coming up straight down the center, I had most of my guys on the right side. It probably made more sense for me to just kind of move everything over and let him take this area, which he does, and it's all okay. It's all okay. But I'm starting to push up. Prussia starts backing up. Bavaria is almost to the battlefield. The Russian player does have stakes right behind his artillery, which is really annoying, but it's okay. It's a good little tactic to kill anything, but video game exploitations. And he's pushing up his infantry, but this artillery right here is pretty hardcore. Really going to be frustrating to go against for both of us, or all 3 of us on this side. Denmark has taken the 2-pointer over here. You see we got a 2-point on, let me scroll up more. We got a 2-point over here. We got a 1-point here. The house here is a 3-point. The house back there is a 3-point, and we have a 4-point there. So the Danes have kind of pushed up here. He's got the 1801 Egypt going against him. And so right now is turning pretty cautious little gameplay here. Moving a lot of infantry over. United States, I mean not United States, the 1812 United Kingdom is pushing down. The 1812 British is actually kind of interesting because it has a lot of Canadian troops from it. They're not really all British, but these are Swiss mercenaries, Swiss. These are British, I think, but they got the cool little white hats instead of usually the black shakos. We've got some New Brunswick foot, which I believe that's probably likely Canada. We got some Quebec Fencibles and Arthur Brooke, man, General, a Canadian Fencible. So they have a real good hodgepodge. Montreal, Canadian. So they got a pretty neat little fighting force. Our artillery, is this mine? No, I don't even know where mine is still. Oh. Mine are still here, but he's kind of set up his horses in the way. So mine are kind of useless because I also put units in front of my own. I do a cavalry charge right here because I noticed that the infantry here is not squareable, so I send my guys straight down the pipe. He does counter with some dragoons, and my French are trying to duke it out. I do send in 2 more of my dragoons into the fight to kind of cause some mayhem. Go over here, kind of take down these guys. He does send his cuirassiers in, which is not a good look for me either. My general is, I think this is mine, yeah, Jean-Baptiste. He is moving in, trying to move in my infantry to kind of give some support. We are doing some pretty good damage to these dragoons for Prussia. We did rout off two line infantry units are routed off. We do rout off the dragoons there, and I'm able to get out one of my dragoons. Form square with both of my guys on the side, so his cuirassiers are kind of stuck. They're taking some shots, and these dragoons sadly are routed. It was a pretty little push, kind of forced Prussia back. Maybe I've lost 2 cav. He lost 2 line, which those guys may come back. His dragoons do come back, but I do force the Prussians out of the woods, which is good. Looks like Britain and Russia are actually sending guys over to kind of support. Denmark is now seeing the United Kingdom in front of him, so we've got that going. The fight is carrying on now. Man, that guy, they even lost 70, down to 70. How'd they lose so many men? Dang. This is a really good unit of Vistula, Polish Vistula Legion. They've already down 25 guys. The French-Spanish faction in this game, well, I guess Spanish faction, the French-Spain 1807 to 1814 is kind of a really interesting. You have a lot of foreign units, you have some French units that are real small but really good, and then you have some foreign units which are a little bigger but they don't have as much morale except for the Poles and the Swiss. Because I think this Legion of Hanover is 135 guys, but I think they only have a morale of 1 when the Swiss and the Poles have like 8 and 7 and 10. So my 1805 ally actually does have a French unit that's up a little further than my units. I think I've got 4 units in here, or 3 units, and he's got 1. But he is moving some more up. My dragoons are sitting still. My artillery is starting to shoot now that everything has cleared out of the way. Ooh! Some British... what is that? Where are they at? Some 6-pounders have showed up. Alright, and Bavaria has finally showed up. They're going to form down this road. But the only thing is, though, they have to advance across this open field against this 6-pounder of 5 guns. So it's not going to be that great. And it looks like there's already been a charge from the Jaeger Faraday with the little cav unit for the Bavarians. Over here, it looks like we did have a cav charge by the British against the skirmishers for the Danes. The British and the Danes, I don't know. I feel like the guard units that the Danes have should be okay, relatively, against the British soldiers. But on the normal kind of line infantry, they will probably lose out. But what's good is that they're actually sitting behind this wall, and it actually offers protection, which is pretty cool that they have that. And as I say that, he's going to back up from that position. He does have his right kind of defended by a line. His general is sitting in the back. And he has his live garden still and another heavy cav. Over here, we are pushing up. The British player is actually pushing his rifles through. I do believe that I did a bayonet charge on this unit here because I was really tired of them just kind of shooting me. And I should have charged this one because these guys are literally right here, and I could have ended that. Because shooting in the woods is kind of hard, but I have both. I have 2 of my 3 Vistula legions in the woods here, and that didn't do anything. I have pushed out some of my guys, trying to flank the Prussians here, trying to get him to kind of push these guys up so these guys can actually flank them. This is most of my units being pushed over. This is 1805 France. He's trying to do a charge here against the artillery. We got some shots in the ground. Here we go. Here we go. Good charge. But right as that, they just continue on charging, and then they just get killed by the stakes. Talk about exploitation. But supposedly you can kind of push your guys there and then make them stop, and they'll still fight. But what he did do is he got rid of the transports for the artillery, so they are no longer. Oh look, they're running straight at my guys. That'd be awesome if they just were like, let's do it. Can they get some extra kills? Maybe, maybe. No. But Bavaria has lined up a solid line. Bavaria. Oh, we got a general dead. Who is it? It is the Dane. Oh no. British Cav has gotten behind. Some Hussars. Oh, these Dragoons. They look awesome. Have gotten behind and sadly taken out the Danish commander. So he is without a general. It is opening up over here. What's pretty tough is he has these two really good cav units that could probably break a lot of these British, but all the British line infantry over here, except these Maltese pioneers. What do these guys look like? Interesting. Come from Malta? Stop. They can all form square. Just small numbers though. Well, actually, these numbers are actually relatively large for the British. 110, 120. So what we got over here? I did do a charge to try and take out these guns. Did I even succeed? No, I didn't even succeed. I was brutally stopped. The Prussian player does have cav coming around here. Lasalle and his Hussars are pushing on this side. I don't even know where my Lancers are. French Dragoons are going in. They're going to finish off those Dragoons right there. Prussia has his Hussars pushing in. The fight is not going very well for the Danes. It is not. I'm going to charge in Lasalle to kind of help the Dragoons finish off these guys. Maybe can lure in some other guys and charge them and flank them. But he doesn't budge. He just loses that unit, which is an okay victory. That's a 1 cavalry unit down. My guys are fighting in the woods versus a lot of British infantry. We have the 100th Prince Regents of Dunblin. These are probably Irish. Oh, they are sending out some good volleys. But in the woods here, the fight really should be fairly neutral. I need to back these guys up because they're kind of in the way. Trying to see where all my units over here. Yeah, most of all my units are in these woods here. Looks like the Russian Dragoons are looking to charge. I do have guys on the flank. Bavaria is still sitting still. France has some units over here too. If we could push this side and break this side, we probably could have done really, really well. Because this side is losing and this side is kind of stagnant. We do have some units duking it out, but they're not really, you know, I guess doing anything. So, but they're going, it's going. We're shooting, reloading, we're shooting, reloading, we're shooting, reloading. The fight in the woods is still relatively. I've only lost one guy, and I don't see it. They've disappeared. The Prussian player, the British player has moved a lot of units to the flank, actually. So the British player is kind of spanning this whole flank along with the Prussian has actually moved some of his guys here then to reserve. A charge here by some Dragoons did successfully get the 6-pounder, so the 6-pounder is gone. So that's a good little fight there. This is me trying to get the guy to move forward. Is a pretty good charge. I try to stop them so they don't run. into them, but some of them still do. And see, they just run. He just tells them to run behind, and my cav is forced. They just charge, and then they all end up dying, even though they didn't really lose as many as that much. But that unit's they're now in the 46 to 66, so they should come back. Since they actually were forced off the guns, they're going to have to get back on their guns unless he hurries and goes ahead and tries to do that. So I kind of tell the Bavaria player, all right, now's your time to go push. The guns are not fully operational. He still does not have these guns operational, and we have to do something because our right is not going very well. The British player does push up, but he is pushing into my guys that are in the woods. He does have his Swiss mercenaries pushing up, but I do have a lot of guys in the woods that are very good. And I'm just going to hold in the woods here. There's no point in coming out, and these are 3 or 4 units duking it out with this Glengarry. These guys look awesome with their Tam O'Shanter hats, I think. But they're going to start getting shredded because they have 3 or 4 units pushing at them, shooting at them, pushing at them, shooting at them. But over here, Danes are taking a hard beating. Prussia has sent over his cuirassiers, so it is not looking good. The Live Garden have lost out. They will probably come back, though. They're 73 out of 107, so they should actually come back. The Danish Guard, are trying to make a stand right here, but it is not going very well for us there. The British player does push his guys up, and as the Bavarian player is pushing in. So he does have his Colonial Marines actually pushed into my Polish Grenadiers. I quickly bring my general over to kind of help bump these guys up. We don't need to lose that house. But if we lose that house, that's a lot to lose. Fire from these 3 units here force back one of the United Kingdom units. And here we are still duking it out in the woods. This unit is taking a beating, though. It's taking shots from, I think, 3 or 2 flanking units, but they are also kind of taking a beating themselves. Over here, I actually completely missed this. The Russian player did do a charge here and knocked out these Dragoons, but I was able to knock out his stuff with my Lancers and Lasalle. And there are my Hussars, which I should have used them. But I do move in the Lancers into reserve. The fighting here is it's kind of hard going in and out of these trees and seeing where everything's going. But the fight on the right is completely absolved into complete rout for the Danes. So the British at some point will be coming back over here. And my Poles do lose out, which is a sad thing, but I think they killed like 200 guys, maybe. I don't know, if I can't remember. They did get knocked down to 15 out of 74, though. The fight over here is turning into an all-out brawl. The Russians did charge in their cuirassiers on the left flank of the Bavarians. Form square. The British are also charging in, but a square is formed. I don't really know how this line battle would fare. They are lost out there, but I believe these artillery pieces are in action. So that is a lot of the problem with this center right here. We are losing this house yet again to these Colonial Marines. These Pioneer are losing out, which is not good for us. The fight here is still going on in the woods, and Prussia is starting to push up, so I'm going to have to force myself back on this flank. This is the moment that I decided let's just go for it. The guns right here are wide open, so Lasalle will lead the Polish Lancers of the Vistula. It's time to push in, finish up. This whole flank is relatively exposed, so I'm going to try and push up through here. I charge through a unit, though, and I go after the Dragoons a little bit. I don't actually. Yep, there they go, going after the Dragoons. The Polish Lancers are going to go in, and against those British Dragoons, they're going to mop them up. Yep, they are already on the and they're going to push into these Montreal cavalry as well. Polish dragoons, Polish lancers. They are fading though. Lasalle finished off that unit of Russian militia, and they're going to go after the cav. Artillery. So he's got 2 artillery actually right here. The Polish lancers end up beating these guys. That's 2 cavalry units right there. They're going to go after the British general. Poles have been knocked down to half, but I do take out Lasalle and his cav. Do take out both artillery pieces, and we're going to go after the rocket battery that they have on this side. The Poles are now, though, in a pickle with Russian cuirassiers coming upon them. They will not last. They are brave Poles, but they're not going to last against the cuirassiers. Just not meant to be. But due to this attack, losing the cavalry over here, the Russian player is in full retreat. Lasalle has done a good job. The Poles are actually still fighting over here, which is insane. Well, they killed 9 of the cuirassiers, but it is done for them. They came in, swept through. So did Lasalle. Apparently and historically, Lasalle loved, him and Murat did enjoy leading the Polish cavalry into action. On this flank, I'm in full retreat. I'm being flanked pretty bad by Prussia. They came around, moving a little faster, not in the trees. All my guys are kind of being left behind. We are being flanked. I have still not noticed that these guys are back, which is kind of sad. But Lasalle is sweeping through. He goes after the British general here, and I believe he does get him. But right now, this is a big problem. Russia has control of this house right in the middle. Oh, there's Lasalle. Brave Lasalle is duking it out. I love carrying this Lasalle as a combat general. We do try to charge into this flank over here or into the Russian infantry to try and bust them up. As you can see, Prussia's cav has circled completely around, and these French cuirassiers are not going to be able to do much. Lasalle does charge into the rear of these Russian infantry here, and Russian infantry don't like that at all. Rear charge, that flank is breaking. We're starting to chain route. These Russians up here are breaking. It is going very well on this front. I just wish we kind of maybe had done it sooner, and we would have been a little better off, because now Prussia is sending its cav in to take care of all our artillery, and none of these guys, well, this unit can form square, but these guys cannot. But they're going to take the charge. They're not even going to face. These guys actually should probably be going after this house. A lot of my units are coming out of the woods to try and reform. But these grenadiers in melee, though, should do very well, even if they're not in square. They do get my general. This is my general. They not kill him, but they do force him to retreat. Bavaria has Russia on full retreat right now at the moment. Just ended up, when we finally did it, it actually ended up being really, really well, working really well. But the Prussian cav has entered the fight, and I did receive my cav, so my hussars are going up against these cuirassiers, which they honestly will not last that long either, and I think they just run through my guys, and they're going to go on to the Bavarian and French general there. The fight is scrambling, but there is an opportunity. I don't remember how many the British soldiers that were there. The Swiss do go into a charge. They find themselves a little outmatched by the Prussian musketeers. The British have moved up their troops through the woods. He did a real good job. His good units stayed in the trees, while a lot of his militia units stayed on the outside and took most of the beating, while these guys stayed in the trees. Bavaria is setting up, but we are pretty much just kind of rerouting a lot of units. I am sending most of my columns here. These Vistula are going in for the charge, and they charge really far away. But they're already on low morale, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. these Poles should beat out these Prussian guys, but they end up not doing so. Not too bad. But it's okay. My Poles actually let me down really bad in this game. I took one of the more elite versions of them, of the 3 that I brought. Brought one of the more elite ones, and they actually ended up not performing like I should. So I could have got 3 or 4 more, 2 or 3 units more if I hadn't have brought that unit. So I was kind of disappointed in that fight. But see, they just, well, actually no. Well, I think they both broke at the same time, which is okay, I guess. But still, I would have rather have had them be on this flank to shoot. But I am pushing up against these musketeers here. Most of these units are actually going to outduel all of these line, but he does have his artillery here. I am beginning to push up my infantry. Oh, these cuirassiers, do they either break or they just come back? Wow, I have no idea. Well, I think they fought and then the Prussians charged on through, so they didn't even try to break, they just charged on through. The Russian player is making an all-out blob attack right at our 1 point. This is a just massive blob charge, straight through. But the Russians do love to charge and get in close combat, so for Russia to do it, it's not a big deal. But it is a massive blob charge. We do have the Prussian kind of backing up some of his units. His artillery is, though, the British artillery is setting up, so it's not looking like a good fight for these 3 units. Yep, there they go, getting blasted already as that guy flies. The Russian infantry is just continuing to push. Again, this house falling into control of the enemy was a disaster for us, because this is a house in our rear basically while we are all around. Here comes the French cuirassiers coming in for the fight. And they get slowed up. The Russians do end up breaking somewhat. They just went into this house some more. There we go. Cuirassiers rushing in. They're going to try and break the British and these Russians. It does break Peter Bagration. Looks like he is broken, so a Russian general is off the map. Bavaria still has pretty decent size of a force. I'm pretty beat up. All my guys are really left right here in the woods. And as you see, yep, there's all the way back there, the general is. But this fight had its moment of glory, and it slowly was dashed away. But what can you say? We tried. It was a real good fight. But we can still technically pull it off. We have no idea. British Cav is coming in into my light infantry. I believe these are light infantry. A really good unit though. Yeah, light. I'm trying to run those guys away. Cuirassiers do notice it though and do send some help right into the rear. These Brits don't know what hit them. So I try to just get my guys away. Try to get them through the woods and try to flank these Prussians here. I think he has 2 units. Wow, that's insane. Those Brits still didn't break after a rear charge. Sometimes morale is crazy, but it's okay. I believe this is a really good unit of Bavarian. Yeah, it says G3, so I think this is a guard infantry unit. Duking it out with a Russian line infantry unit. The Cuirassiers do go in for... Oh, these are the Chaussures à cheval are still in the fight. They're going for the artillery. Will they make it? No, they're routed. They routed. Dang. Close. I think if they hadn't have run into those guys, they would have been okay. But, you know, it doesn't, I had 7 guys attack 1 artillery piece, completely cut it down, but a whole squadron of those guys didn't make it. But here are the British have arrived. The British are coming. They finally made it to the other side of the flank. It is not a good fight for me there. Do try to charge with some French line just to try and break. And looks like some Fim, but it's okay. That's one thing that I don't really get as mad about in this game as everybody else does, because why not shoot somebody in your face? The Russian player does have 2 remaining line, and the British are pushing up their line as well. The Cuirassiers are going in for the fight. They're going to go in for the artillery. They can get this artillery and probably sweep around and cut down some of these guys. So I don't think that one, none of those can form square. And what I did not know is I have 2 units back here that have come back to the fight. Well, that one is, and this one will eventually use Vistula. But I do have Swiss back here that are actually still in the fight. I had no idea. The French did break the artillery piece, but they were broken. I don't know how they got broken, but they got broken. The British are pushing up into the woods. It looks like the Cuirassiers are still in the battlefield, and they are exhausted, so they're going to walk slowly towards Claude Victor Perrin and Karl Philipp von Raed. And they're going to carry their swords and then slowly march as Bavarian infantry does go in for the charge. Right here, I had British troops literally just walk straight into my guys. I don't know if he forgot about them or what, but they slowly just charged. I mean, basically just walked into my guns. So the British player will set up, and I will set up to fight him in the woods. What we should have done here is we should have just backed away from the woods and let them come out, because he still has troops in these woods here. Should have just let him come in. The Congreve rockets are back online. The Cuirassiers, as you saw that, they did end up killing the general, and they're going after the Bavarian general. The British player does charge me into the woods, but he's charging like 3 or 4 units, so I can do a bunch of charges and duke it out with him. And he's charging Swiss, which are one of my better units. I don't even think I have any Poles left at this point. They really let me down. But I am marching my Vistula up through the woods. So at this point, we'll probably just fast forward a little faster speed. Kind of end this game a little quicker. I just really enjoyed this game. As you see, it had a lot to it, including my fabulous charge with Lasalle and his Lancers. The push by Bavaria was really great. We probably should have done it a little sooner, but we are slowly being kind of wrangled in. British player does throw in some units here, fighting the Bavarian. I am starting to take a shot at them, because I don't want to keep my units all the way out here again. I want to get them back into this little box with the French and Bavaria. But the Russian still has his Cuirassiers, which are wreaking havoc upon what we have left. He's going to charge, though, and those guys will break. So now is just basically the beginning of the end. Probably was a point that we could have taken it or been a little in a better shape. But see, these guys, you should back these guys up. I mean, they're fighting guys shooting through woods. We should back these guys up so we don't have to shoot through the woods. I do close my guys in. They do get broken. I do charge these guys up here, which is kind of annoying how these guys apparently were winded, and they are light infantry though, but I do charge. They do break there. Charge here on the side, and pretty much my army is finally broken. So it is a done deal for my forces. All we have left is Bavaria and a few of the 1805 French, but it doesn't really matter. The enemy does have a unit there. The British player does send units here. So it is a done deal. Excuse me. But look at the carnage in this one area. Great, great, great carnage. We are slowly, or my allies are slowly trying to push back. The Russian, I believe, all he has is his Cuirassiers, maybe still left. I have no idea. That's a lot of Poles, some Poles, some Black Horse. It's almost Grenadier au Cheval. See, he pushed up here. You should probably just. It's time to turtle up. You know, it's a done deal. But they don't. I don't know if they were scared, but they never pushed us too hard at this point. This game was lasting a lot longer than it probably should have if the enemy had just pushed us. But we are. Oh yeah, they disappeared, going 2 feet back of the woods. We'll put it on ultra speed. But see, the Prussian player can push up, flank all these guys. The Russians' Cuirassiers could easily take out these 2 units, or all 4 of these units, honestly, if he just charged them. But the fight is done. Prussian player, it looks like he is pushing up. Bavaria is pushing back as the British are trying to flank somewhat. Cuirassiers do go in. They take a shot as the Bavarians set up and are broken. I completely lost an entire unit there. Oh, I do have 1 unit still fighting. Did they finally break? My Swiss did come over here and actually duked it out with these guys for a very, very long time. The 4th Swiss. But right here, Bavaria is pushing out. They're taking pot shots from the woods and from these guys here. Bavaria is holding, but barely, and the Prussians are slowly pushing in. Come on, guys, this is it. You got blood in the water. Let's go. And as you can see here, the North Gloucestershire. What are they? The Foot, the Slashers. What's an interesting name? Are going to move into that house. All right, the Prussian player has finally pushed up his units. The British need to kind of push in. Like, he's got a bunch of units in these trees here. Rocky's more worried about these rockets than anything else. We do put units in the house. They are being shot up, though. I really don't know how much the British player has, but obviously has a unit there, and he's got some cav. No, that's infantry. And they are backing off. So, I mean, this is a done deal. But it was fun. We were pretty much all in chat saying that it was a pretty actually fun fight by both sides. I really don't know. Kudos to him for just duking it out over there against Egypt. British Egypt. But we missed some opportunities. A bunch of cav here, Deb. Artillery was a bummer. Some stuff over here did not go as planned, but you live and you learn. I'm still new to this game a little bit. I am figuring it out a lot more than what I was at the very beginning. And look at these poor jokers right here. They're just running between both lines and taking shots. Just crumbling. Let's just shoot forward. Don't even try. Ugh. That poor unit is just devastated. But pushing it back to fast forward, the Prussians do throw guys in the house. They try and knock out the remaining French Alliance army, which they end up beating out those last French. And now we have the Guard infantry that's still here. The British player is doing a charge. Boop, boop. And those guys are gone. So Bavaria is pretty much off the field. Besides the General Karl Philipp von Ried, he has led his forces very well. And the building has finally fallen. So it is a complete victory for the enemy team. But it was a fun little match. Uh, you know, not the greatest, but still, it was a fun match. I enjoyed it. That's one reason I kind of want to upload it, because it was like a match I really enjoyed playing. Fighting through the trees, doing the charges through here. There was a lot to look everywhere. This map is kind of an interesting one, with one army starting here, coming up the road. You will usually fight around this area, but some interesting stuff can fight here. You can have one army face off against one, and then one army fight here. And there goes the last Bavarian general, or not last Bavarian general, but the last Bavarian unit. And the stats will come up. And as you can see, it was a glorious fight. I deployed 1,900 guys, ended up killing 1,400. The Egyptian guy ended up doing 2,000. Bavaria ended up doing a lot of kills. Um, Taking a look, this light infantry unit, I don't know what they did to get 263 kills, but they went ham. Lasalle with his 78 did pretty alright. Grenadiers, never mind, they didn't do that much. They didn't do that well. They did get 63. The Vistula Lancers got 117. They went a little ham there. Swiss here, 97. See my Poles right there. Let me down, dog. They let me down. This one did pretty well, but again, it wasn't worth bringing this unit at all. One of these units was that last unit that came back, and they did pretty well. I think it was this unit right here, but overall, units did, fairly well. Fully enjoyed it. These light infantry units for the French were really good. But enjoyed it. Good game to these guys. Good game to the guys I played with. A very fun game. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and a comment. Every little bit helps. Thanks.